Welcome back. I'm Carrie and this is Keep It Simple DIY. You guys, I am hosting a sourdough class this weekend, so I'm working little by little throughout the week to get everything ready. So this came about really last minute. In my neighborhood group, people were asking about sourdough and who does it, and about 20 people responded, and I responded saying I do. But then I looked at the other posts and nobody knew how to. So nobody knows how to, I know how to. Very last minute I decided, let me teach a class. So I'm feeding my starter like crazy this week. Yesterday I started, this has been fed a 1:2:2 ratio. So I started with 50 grams and I added, what I'm going to do here is, tear the jar first. Oops, not tear the jar, tear the scale. I'm going to put 50 grams back in my fridge because I can just see myself accidentally using all of the starter because it's in a different container than normal. So I want to make sure that I don't do that. So this video is going to be a little bit of a behind the scenes of my class. So I don't know how much of the class I'll be able to show, if any, but behind the scenes for sure. And this says 56 on it, so if I can get this to be 56 again, I don't have to rewrite the label. Is that funny? Okay, 56 on the dot. I am going to put this in the fridge because I don't want to accidentally use too much. So I got myself a whole new container. This thing's huge, but I figure this will be helpful for me to start a lot of starter at once because I don't really have a big gallon jug or anything. Well, aside from this one now, it was $6. It was not a lot of money. So I'm expecting to have, I don't know, it's kind of hard. You know how it is these days when someone says maybe. Right now, there's 7 people coming. I'm hoping it'll be less than 10, but I did make sure to get enough stuff. So if it's more than 10, I can handle it. But I think just size-wise, 10 would be great. But I also will never tell anybody no because I think that everyone should always be invited. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just taking all of the starter out of this jar, putting it in the big jar, and we're gonna go big. So this class is on Saturday morning, and it is currently Wednesday. So yesterday I fed my starter. I was at 175 grams of starter. Well, and then I put 225 in the fridge. So somewhere along the way I lost some liquid. But I'm going to add probably about 200 or 250 grams of water to this, and we'll do I don't know, 1.5 time feeding. This is the most I've ever fed at once. Whoops, well, that's fine. I'll clean that up in a second. Okay, 255. Mix this in. So I am planning to feed this today, and then I'm gonna let it sit again till tomorrow, and then tomorrow afternoon I will feed it again. But tomorrow I might make loaves. So here's my plan. For the class, I want to have 2 loaves of bread. I'm thinking one of them I might keep out on the counter and one of them I might put in the fridge. That way they could see the difference in how sour they get based on the different temperatures that they ferment in. And then I want to also do the sourdough cinnamon brioche twists that I made before when Sarah and I were collabing. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I'll link it. It's a good one. I really enjoyed everything about it. So, including working with Sarah. Okay, so now I need 175 grams of flour. So all that to say, I do have another day that I can feed tomorrow, and then I can also feed Friday if I don't have enough. How much were they trying to do? Oh, shoot. So if I had 175, or 226, so that means that I need, did I get almost exactly? It says 446 now. So I had 226, right? Is that what I had, or did I have 256? I forgot to tear it. Well, good news about sourdough is it's super forgiving. You can just go based on what it looks like. I think this is gonna be fine. So I think it was doubled. It said 460, which means 230. I might need a little bit more. Yeah, I think I need a little more flour. When I went to Ohio this summer, I brought some sourdough starter with me. I brought the smallest bit, just in a little bag. And then I did like a huge feed. And it was fine. I didn't have anything to weigh it. I didn't have anything, like none of my regular tools. This is good. Okay, so I'm gonna scrape these sides down a little bit because I just don't want to make too much paper mache. That's basically all this is, right? Okay, oh, I got it right there. That's okay. So tomorrow I'll start the dough, and then Friday I will finish the dough. I might make the bread Friday night, because then Saturday all I have to do is make the brioche cinnamon twists. But I think that'll work, because then Friday night, so tomorrow I make the dough for the 2 breads, Friday I make the dough for the cinnamon twists, bake on Friday, bake Saturday morning, and then Saturday is the class. So let me get something over this. I did recently get these things, so that's fantastic. Isn't that hilarious? Okay, I'm going to mark this so I can see when it doubles. And this is good until tomorrow. So I'm going to stick it over here and I'm going to show you what I have prepped. So I have now the sourdough starter, but I have this big tray. This is what I'm going to put the cinnamon rolls on. I have these itty bitty bannetons. Look at how cute these are. I'm going to make individual little loaves for each person to try scoring. And so I figured that'll work out really well. We'll practice scoring with that. I also have some cups out because I want to make some like Starbucks pink drink copycat. So I've got some white cran strawberry and some coconut milk. So we'll mix those together to make cute little drinks. And then I need to bring you into my office to show you what else we're doing because I have a whole thing figured out. So let me show you exactly the plan. This is going to be exciting. So I have made a full-on PowerPoint for the event. The thought is that people will arrive, we'll do cinnamon rolls and drinks, and we'll chit chat and we'll get to know each other a little bit. And then like first thing, we're going to start off by mixing some dough because I want everyone to have hands-on experience and get to know all of like the nitty-gritty details about sourdough. So we will mix the dough in the very beginning. Then we'll start going through the slides, which I'm going to project up onto my TV because I can use my phone as like a remote for that. And so I'll project those up. We'll get through as much as we can until we get to the stretch and fold section. And then we will stop and we will stretch and fold our dough. And then after we've stretched and folded our dough, we will continue on in the slides until we get to the scoring part. And then we will score those little loaves that I would have had in the freezer, and those will be ready to go. And then we'll bake those little loaves as well. So once the little loaves are in the oven, then we will continue on with the slides. And then once enough time has passed where we've done a few stretch and folds, we will work on shaping our dough. So the plan is that each person will be able to go home with a cooked little tiny sourdough boule that they scored themselves, and they'll go home with a boule that they need to let ferment until tomorrow, and then they can cook it tomorrow. So I really want everyone to be hands-on with everything. The only thing that we're not doing tomorrow is feeding starter, but I am going to send everybody home with like a little to-go like condiment cup worth of starter so that they can all now start with sourdough. So that's the whole plan for the event. I'm really excited to see how it turns out, and I'm going to bring you along with me as I prep for this event over the next couple of days. Tomorrow there won't be a whole ton of prep. Today that was all I needed to do was feed the starter. But Friday and Saturday morning will be a little bit crazy, but I'm so excited. It's nice to find people in real life who have similar things in common. Even if they've never done it before, they're interested. And that to me is very exciting because I have a lot of odd hobbies, if you say. A lot of people don't can or garden or process their food or freeze a bunch of stuff or sourdough or cook from scratch, make a bunch of bread. You know, the list goes on and on. I'm a little unique in the real world. Right here, I fit in just fine. But let me show you what went into this, like math-wise, because this was a huge math problem. So my numbers still might change a little bit just because it depends on how many people I have. But if I have 10 people, here's what I was thinking. So basically, I wrote out how much I needed total. So I needed to keep 50, which we already put that away. I had 200 to give, so my plan was to give out 20 grams in each of those little containers. And then I needed 140 grams for small batch bread. Small batch? Now I'm like, what even is that? I think that must be regular bread, but I probably only need 100. Anyways, people's batches, I needed 50 grams of starter times 10 people, and that's 500 grams. Oh, I know what small batch is. So small batch is those little teeny tiny ones. It's not a small batch, it's a huge batch. It was like a 2.4 batch. I usually do 50 grams per recipe, or maybe it was 2.75 batch. Anyways, that's enough for me to make all those little tiny ones. So I needed 840 grams of starter, and I think right now I'm at like 525, but I have 2 more days that I can feed the starter, so we'll be good. So that all went into how much I needed. And then I had to backtrack. I need all of these things for Saturday morning. How much do I need on Saturday? How much do I need on Friday? And when do I need to start feeding my sourdough? Because if I'm going to do like a 1 to 10 to 10 feeding, that's going to take a lot longer to rise. And I should probably do 2 feedings in a row. So I'm not going to walk you through all the math, but that was a lot of the math that went into the prepping to have all the materials ready. And then the same for Saturday, I had to do the same type of backwards math, and I was going to make another thing in the morning, but for now I realized guests are arriving at 11, so I wanted to take everything out at 10:30, and then the cinnamon rolls had to be in the oven by 10 because then I had plenty of time to take them out, and if they had to be in the oven at 10, I had to have them done by like 8, so they had a few hours to rise. So I had to work my way backwards, and then I had to also figure out the exact order I was going to do the class, because originally when I was doing this, I kind of went in order of what the slide said, but then I realized we had to mix our dough first thing if we wanted to do stretch and folds and shaping the dough, which I don't know if I actually remembered to say that, but we are going to shape the dough at the end, which is what goes here. I don't know why it's missing. Okay, now it's there. Shape the dough. So that's the full plan. A lot of thought went into this. I hope the class goes really well. I hope people show up. I mean, that's always what I'm worried about, is when I host an event, like, is nobody gonna show up? But there's 7 people who are confirmed coming. So even if 5 come, I mean, that would be like a great amount of people because kitchen's only so big. So I will be back tomorrow when we are feeding the starter again and deciding if we're going to start on our bowls or not. It's now Thursday. I just took that little thing off of here. I'm going to make just 1 loaf of bread, I'm thinking, because I originally was going to make 2 because I had so many people RSVPing, but right now the RSVP has changed and it looks like we only have 5 people coming for sure, and then a bunch of people are maybes, so they might show up. I think I got water on my face. I am going to get 50 grams of starter into this bowl. Okay, and I'm just going to make a regular old loaf. So we're gonna do 350 grams of water. Okay, on the dot. I didn't grab my Danish dough whisk. Let's see. Here it is. And then we'll add 500 grams of flour. I don't think I have enough flour there, so I'll probably have to get more of that too. Well, maybe. Oh gosh. Okay, 500. So as simple as that, we've got 1 loaf. I mean, if there's only 5 people, we do not need 2 loaves of bread plus cinnamon rolls. So now I'm thinking I have way too much starter though, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with all of it? Guess some discard recipes are in my future. So this just needs to sit and hydrate for a little while, and then we will do some stretch and folds a few times today. And I don't know if I'm gonna shape it or put it straight in the fridge. I probably should shape it, but we'll see. I'm a bit tired today. So here's my thought. I need to feed this today because it's out on my counter and I want to feed it every day so it doesn't go bad. But I don't want to have way too much because at this point, I don't think we're gonna have nearly as many people. So I think I'm going to start off by putting some into little packages for each individual person. And I think I'm gonna do 10 of these just in case. I feel like if I prep for 10 and only 5 show up, that's no big deal. But if I prep for 5 and 10 show up, that is a big deal. So I feel like this will be fine to sit in my fridge for an extra day because I still have all of tomorrow. I think I need 1 more. Okay. am curious though how much fits in one. These are cute. I was thinking 20 grams, so I'll tear it with a different one. A little messy there. So my thought is I'll just fill it all the way up. So let's see here. Doesn't weigh anything. 24 grams. So we can say that's approximately 25 grams. So that's a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. So that actually works out to help me use some of this up. I'd rather be over-prepared than under-prepared, you know? And I also just like to prep ahead. So tomorrow I won't have to do a whole ton, but I also have a buffer day. So if by chance something happens and like tons of people decide to come, I have a day to prepare. I guess, do I want to make the dough for all of those little ones? Big dilemma here. I need to feed the starter and I don't want to end up with a ton of it. I'm going to get these into my fridge and I'm going to think about what my next step is, but we will be back. We are definitely feeding that today. I think I'm going to feed it 150 and 150 and hopefully that'll be enough to keep it going for the day. So the rest of what I need to do tonight then is just stretch and fold that dough. And then that's it. Tomorrow we'll be doing all the things. That means I can relax tonight. I think what I'm going to do is grab a paper towel that's wet and try to wipe some of this off the sides, because I do not want a mess. All right, this has been sitting for about an hour. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, and then I'm going to get my hand wet, and then we can start our first stretch and fold. I'm going to do that 2 more times, not the salt, just the stretch and fold, and then we'll be ready to shape it. It is now Friday. I'm getting the scale going. I've had a lot of developments here. So we're now back up to 8 people confirmed and I have 10 people who are maybes. So that's a huge variance. And I want to make sure I have enough for everybody, but I don't want to have way too much of everything. So I'm going to start out with the things that I do know. So I am going to make the little loaves, and what I've decided to do is make 16 little loaves, because then I could have 8 people who are confirmed and 8 extras. I don't think 8 who are maybes out of the 10 will show up, but if I have little doughs, that won't hurt anything. So I can just make little bread bowls out of them. So what I've done is, originally I knew I needed like 2.7 something recipes worth, and that was just too hard. So what I did was I took my recipe and I made it to where each recipe would be 1,000 grams, so I could then divide the recipe by 4, get 4 little loaves out of one recipe. So then I doubled it, so I'm gonna do 2 in here, 2 in here, we'll get 16 loaves, it'll be good. So let's get started. That was a whole lot of math. I need, let's see, 111 grams of starter, and I am just gonna pour it today. We're a little over, that's okay. And then, let's see, 1,111 grams of flour. We're not there yet though. 700, I put them backwards. 778 grams of water. Okay, got me confused for a second, so I'm like, that's a ton of water, but that's because I'm doubling this recipe. I'm still going to only just do the single batch of the cinnamon rolls, though. I think that'll be plenty. People probably won't want more than 1 cinnamon roll anyways. All right, let's get this tiered. And let's get 111 grams of flour in there. Not 111, 1,111. I hope this doesn't overflow out of this bowl. Okay. Ah, my finger. That is so much dough. I was debating, like, what am I gonna put these in? So hopefully, oh gosh, this is so much in one bowl. Hopefully this works out okay, because this is like over 2 batches in a bowl. Okay, we got one. Let's do the next. Cinnamon brioche twist time, and I've made this recipe before, so if you didn't see it, definitely go check it out. It is the sourdough cinnamon brioche twist, cinnamon something like that. I will link it above. That video was so fun because it was such a different, I always get the shell in here. It was such a different thing to make, and it turned out so delicious, so we're doing it again. But I'll have all the directions in the other video. For this video, I'm just going to mix everything together because I have a lot going on. Hopefully I remember to tear it each time though. 250 grams of starter is what I'm trying to get in here. There we go. Maple syrup going in the dough. What else do I need? 10 grams of salt. Okay. Now I need to get all of this mixing before I get the flour in. So let's do that. 500 grams of flour is then needed. And then we'll let it mix for quite a while, and then I'll add some butter after like a half hour of it sitting. It's a little different of a recipe. And I remember last time this recipe was really wet of a dough, so I might add a little extra flour if I think that is the case this time too. We got 518, so I think that'll be perfect. All right, now here's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. I have probably 100 grams in here. I'm going to do a big feed, probably like 1 to 4 to 4. So if I feed 400 of each, we'll end up with like 900 grams. That's enough for 18 people. I don't think we're gonna have 18 people, but I think I'll probably have a bunch of like sourdough recipes coming to my future, because my guess is I'll have like 400 grams left over, just a hunch. But I'd rather have too much than too little, and I can always freeze it or make discard recipes. Well, I literally hate this thing. Whoa, how much did it? Okay, I was just putting my weight on it. I'm like, I don't want too much. Okay, here's 400. Plus however much was in here already. Give this a mix. Okay, here's my thought. I think I'm gonna put 50 grams in each cup. That way they're already separated out. I don't have to worry about like it evaporating, not having too much for somebody or anything like that. Okay, 1 cookie scoop is way more. It's 85, at least this size. $55. I'm going to call that good enough. We're going to get this back over there, rising. And then for these ones, I'm just going to use these cheap little sandwich bags to cover them. I think that'll work out just fine. All right, let's get this butter worked in. A few pats in, and then we'll start it up. While the mixer's going, I want to get these stretched and folded. So let's add some salt. I'm just gonna eyeball. Ooh, that might be a lot. It also might not be a lot. Maybe let's take some of that and stick it in there. This is like over a double batch. So this dough started out pretty nice consistency, and now it's pretty sticky, which is what I expected. So I'm not concerned at all about that, but I do want to get the dough off of this, and then we will be coil folding it a little later. So I just want to get the dough down together, kind of get some of that butter mixed in. Okay, it's looking nice. I'm gonna get it covered, and it's gonna sit for a while. So I've gone back and forth on if I wanted to cook this dough tonight. This is the one that we prepped yesterday, and I definitely decided I'm gonna do it tonight so it has plenty of time for it to completely cool. So let's see here. I think I'm gonna try to give it a cutesy design today. Okay. And there we go. First timer just went off. It is time to take the lid off. And let's see what they have in there. Ooh, look how pretty. We got a little ear going on. Just came out of the oven, so this is great. It'll sit and cool down all the way, and then I'm not going to cut into it until tomorrow, but I did get the final set of stretch and folds done, so the next step will be shaping, which will be in about a half hour to an hour or so. We are nearing the end of this project. I am very excited because it's been a very long day, but I'm so excited for tomorrow morning. Let's see, it is 6:30. So we're still a ways away from tomorrow morning, but this is gonna be fun. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this. So I think I want to put a little bit of rice flour in them first. This is working. Okay, cool. Okay, now move these ones out of the way. Didn't really do much because that's where the counter was anyways. I guess they can come back. All right, let's see. Let's put a little bit of rice flour down here. I did just clean my counter. So how do I want to do this? Maybe if I can take like half of the dough. And now I need probably a little rice flour. I don't think I'm gonna weigh these out. I think I'm just going to eyeball them. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? Hopefully that's good. Okay. Let's give this a try. Make little tiny ones. Cute. At first it was really sticky. The dough is not nearly as sticky now, so I definitely don't need as much flour down as I have. Oops. Okay, I'm going to do this 12 more times. I've gotten myself all set up for tomorrow, so I have the stuff out to make the cinnamon rolls. I also got out a tray so that I could put the drinks on. I debated on if I wanted to do one of those like gallon glass jars, mix everything together. But I think what I'm going to do is just put out the coconut milk and the juice. That way if people don't want them mixed, they don't have to have them mixed, and then they can also mix it to their liking. Then I'll have like a whipped cream. It'll just be like a little drink station. They can make their own. And then over here I have the bread. I brought out the toaster so that if people want to toast their bread, they can. And then I have this because this isn't quite cool yet, but once it is, I will put it in the bag so that overnight it'll be in the bag, you know. And then I have 2 different jellies out. I have strawberry jam and apple jelly. And then this is the plate I'm going to put the cinnamon rolls on. This is stuff that's just drying and needs to be put away. But I did get out a rack so that we could put all those little bread loaves on, and then all my supplies. So the thought is that after I make the cinnamon rolls tomorrow, I will get this counter completely cleaned off. I might move this mat to the other side of the counter so people can stand on it, unless they're wearing shoes and they don't need it. Whatever they want. If they want to wear, I don't care. Shoes don't matter to me, but this is where we'll all be working, and then all of this stuff will be back here. So I'm ready to go. It is now the morning of the party. I'm still in pajamas, so I'm going to not show my face. Our vacuum just turned on, so got a lot going on right now, but I'm going to shape these cinnamon twists because they need to sit for a few hours before they're ready to go in the oven. Okay, so we're wanting to get this into a rectangle that is approximately 20 inches by, oh, I don't remember, but I want to cut this into at least 14 pieces because I will be having, we now have 10 confirmed. So 10 people have confirmed, 5 people are maybes. So we definitely won't have 18 like I prepped for. But still glad I prepped extra. Let's see if I can do a little stretching with my hands. So I'm going to put this filling that I mixed up. It's just brown sugar, cinnamon, butter, and a pinch of salt. I'm going to put that on the lower half, the lower 2/3, I guess. And it does have me melt the butter and mix everything together before putting it on, unlike cinnamon rolls. Probably just so that when you cut these open, it stays together and doesn't all come out. That's my guess. I don't know why, but I'm thinking that makes sense to me. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good. So let's see, we're going to get this folded. We'll fold the side that doesn't have any filling down, so that way there's filling between, and then this one will go up and we'll get filling between there. Yep. Perfect. Going to pinch the edges together. Got a little filling spilling out. Some spilling. I'm going to pinch these sides too because it said to discard the ends, and I'm of course not going to do that. Let me grab pizza cutter. So I think I'm going to go about an inch. Or so, maybe small. It's gonna be perfect. We're gonna end up with 15. That one's a little skinny. That's okay. 15 is great because then they'll go on the pan nice and easy. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go 1/3 of the way and down, 1/3 of the way and down, and then we're gonna braid it. End one won't be as pretty, but that's okay. And then we'll take this side and roll it up. Look how cute. And here they are. These are going to sit for a few hours and then I will bake them up. They look fantastic. Can you even tell which ones are the end ones? Nope, these are a little smaller, but can't even tell. These are ready to go into the oven. I preheated to 475, but I need to decrease this now to 400, and then we're going to put them in for 15 minutes. It's currently 10:25, so people will start arriving here shortly. It starts at 11, so who knows, somewhere around there, but let's get these in. People will be arriving any minute, and I have the pink drink station out. They can get ice out of the fridge, well, freezer. We have a loaf that hasn't been cut into yet. I have 3 different jams. Here are the cinnamon rolls. And then I've got the cooling rack set out, some extra things, the little starters that I'm going to give to people to take home. And then over here I have some extra bowls in case someone forgets a bowl, because I had everybody bring a bowl and some flour. And I went and bought those at the Dollar Tree yesterday just in case. I have all the starters lined up for everybody to make their own loaf. I have my setup for a loaf, and then everybody else will get a turn as well at Dang Fly. And then I have my slideshow presenting up on the TV. So even more important is I got a sourdough shirt, so I will get on a little later to recap how it went, but I am so excited for this event, so I'm going to get going so that I can answer the door. You guys, we had it. Everybody showed up that said they were going to, so we had 10 people. That was great. That was probably the perfect amount. I think any more than that and it would have been a little chaotic because we just barely fit around the counter. But let me show you what the counter and everything looks like. I just want to give you a big pan around the room. We're kind of looking like a disaster here. I'm looking back at it. This won't take me very long to clean up though, but this was so much fun. We all made those little breads. Let me show you what mine looks like. Here's the little loaf. Actually, this one might not have been mine. I put a K on it and that looks like a star, but it's kind of hard to keep track of whose was whose. We have only 3 little cinnamon rolls left down here, but we have a little bit of bread left. I also have a loaf in my fridge that I'm going to need to, or actually it's not in the fridge yet. It's over here that I'll need to cook up. But this was such a fun day. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to, maybe I'll stop spinning so I don't make you dizzy. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do this again, which I think I do because there's a lot of people who showed interest in our neighborhood and I only caught 10 of them today. So that's just super fun. I'm just like, look at this. In my sourdough era, this was perfect for today. This was the cutest one that I saw because it had like the loaves and then the little flour. So yeah, okay, well, my heart is full. Thanks so much for being here and watching this. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and you haven't yet, please subscribe. And if you're interested in some other sourdough videos, I will pop some up over here. Thanks so much. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. And for those of you curious, it looks like I ended up with about 300 grams of extra starter. So the question is, what do I want to do with it? I could make another batch of cinnamon rolls because these were so good and they used 250 grams. So that might be something for now. I'm just going to put it in my fridge as a discard, and maybe we'll be making some fun discard recipes. Who knows?